There are houses that feel empty, and then there are houses that feel as though they are waiting. In the quiet town of Greymoor, nestled between rolling hills and a slow winding river, stood a house no one dared to approach after sunset. The house had no official name, but among the townsfolk it was known simply as the Hollow House. Its windows were clouded with age, and its wooden beams bent slightly, as though the building itself had grown tired of standing. But the most unsettling thing about the Hollow House was not its crumbling walls or its sagging roof. It was the candle. Every night without fail, a small candle burned in the attic window. It flickered gently behind the dusty glass, casting long, wavering shadows across the empty street below. And yet, no one had lived in that house for nearly 80 years. The townspeople had many explanations. Some said it was simply a trick of the light. Others insisted that a squatter must be living in the attic. But the oldest residents of Greymoor knew better. They remembered the stories their grandparents had whispered in hushed voices by the fireplace. Stories about the family who once lived there. And the night everything changed. Many years ago, the Hollow House belonged to a quiet scholar named Edmund Harrow. Edmund was a man fascinated by forgotten knowledge. He collected ancient books, strange artifacts, and journals filled with symbols no one else could read. His study, located in the attic of the house, was said to be filled with towering shelves of dusty manuscripts and curious objects gathered from distant lands. But Edmund Harrow had a habit that disturbed the neighbors. Every night, long after the town had fallen asleep, a candle burned in his attic window, and Edmund would sit beside it, writing, always writing. At first, the townspeople assumed he was simply working late, but as the years passed, strange rumors began to spread. Children claimed they heard whispering coming from the attic late at night. Farmers passing by the house after dark swore they saw shadows moving behind the candlelight, shadows that did not belong to a single person. And sometimes, when the wind was very still, faint voices could be heard drifting from the attic window, not loud enough to understand, but loud enough to make the hairs on the back of one's neck rise. Then, one night, Edmund Harrow disappeared. No signs of struggle, no open doors, no footprints leaving the house. He was simply gone. The townspeople searched the building from cellar to attic, but they found nothing except the candle, still burning, still flickering quietly in the attic window. After that night, the house was abandoned. No one wanted to live there. No one wanted to even enter. And yet, every night, the candle returned. Always in the attic, always burning. Years passed, then decades. The town of Greymoor slowly changed as new generations arrived and old stories faded into legend, but the candle never stopped appearing. Every night, without fail. One autumn evening, a traveler arrived in Greymoor. Her name was Lena Voss. Unlike the townspeople, Lena did not believe in ghost stories. She was a journalist who traveled from town to town, investigating strange local legends. And the moment she heard about the candle in the attic, she became curious, very curious. The townspeople warned her not to investigate. They told her the story of Edmund Harrow. They told her about the whispers. They told her about the candle that refused to go out. But curiosity is a powerful thing. Lena Voss had built her entire career on chasing mysteries others were too afraid to face. So that night she went to the hollow house. The building stood silent beneath the pale moonlight. The wooden fence around the property had long since collapsed, leaving the yard open and overgrown with weeds. And above the front door, the attic window caught the light. In the attic window, a candle flickered, just as the townspeople had promised. Lena pushed open the front door. It creaked slowly, the sound echoing through the empty halls. Dust hung thick in the air. The floorboards groaned beneath her footsteps. And yet, despite the years of abandonment, the house did not feel empty. It felt occupied. She moved slowly through the house, past the old dining room, past the narrow staircase. Every step seemed louder than the last. And the entire time, the candlelight above flickered softly through the ceiling boards, waiting. Finally, she reached the attic stairs. They were narrow and steep, twisting upward into darkness. And as she climbed them, she noticed something strange. The air was warmer, much warmer, as though someone had been here recently. When she reached the attic door, she paused. On the other side of that door was the candle, and perhaps the answer to a mystery nearly a century old. She pushed the door open, slowly. The attic was larger than she expected. Shelves lined the walls, filled with old books and scattered papers. A desk stood near the window, and on the desk, the candle burned quietly, its flame steady and bright, as though it had been lit only moments ago. But Lena noticed something else. The pages on the desk were not blank. They were filled with writing, fresh writing, ink that had not yet fully dried. Her heart began to beat faster. Someone had been here. Someone had written these words. Recently, she picked up one of the pages, and as her eyes scanned the writing, a chill ran through her spine, because the page did not contain research notes, or journal entries, or stories. It contained names, dozens of them, hundreds, each written carefully in Edmund Harrow's distinctive handwriting. At the very bottom of the page, one final name had just been written, slowly, carefully, Lena Voss, and as she stared at the page in shock, the candle flickered. The flame stretched taller, and from somewhere deep within the attic, she heard a voice whisper softly, "The candle remembers everyone who comes to see it." Lena turned toward the sound, but there was no one there. Only the flickering flame and the endless shelves of forgotten books. The next morning, the townspeople noticed something strange. The candle in the attic window was still burning, but now there were two shadows moving behind the glass. And from that night forward, anyone who passed the hollow house after dark swore they could hear faint scratching sounds coming from the attic, like the sound of someone writing another name onto the list. Some mysteries are not meant to be solved. Some candles should never be followed. And in Greymoor, the candle still burns.